D-Gens, what's going on, guys? What's going on? All right, so had a little bit of a pullback there this morning, last night, this morning kind of thing, right? But look at this. So we wicked all the way down here below the 200-day SMA. We're already, if you watched the TA video I did this morning, you'd see that I said we would likely wick most of this candle back up. We're already on our way back up on it here, guys. But we did see this coming. We talked about it last night and yesterday. If we look over at Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin has, for the most part, completely recovered and is now in the green after wicking all the way down here. So I'm sure the altcoins will follow suit as the evening rolls on. Will we break through 90K tonight? I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? We may come back down. But I want to show you something here, guys. I like to keep my receipts, right? I like to keep my receipts. This was me yesterday, 24 hours ago. But listen, guys, what you have to remember too, though, is that this is like 8 days in a row of green candles. So I would expect over the course of, the next week, we should have at least 2 or 3 red days. I'm not saying they're going to be massive 40% drop red days, but there will be, 10%, 15% kind of a red day. And then that gets bought back up. So just expect some sideways action at some point here soon, right? So nothing just keeps going straight up forever. But so as we can see, guys, literally told you this was going to happen 24 hours ago, right? Literally told you it was going to happen. I know. It's like I know what I'm talking about sometimes. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. XRP's having itself a good day. It's a top performer in my portfolio right now. Guess I should put myself on the screen, right? So yeah, 16.5% up for XRP. Got as high as 70 cents today, guys. 70 cents. Good for XRP, man. Good for XRP. BTC 88,800. Back into the green, baby. Here we go again. Gonna have a great evening. KASPA down 9.2%. That's okay. That's okay. 13 cents A3. Across the broader market, altcoins, like this is what I've been trying to tell you guys. Like, people keep asking me, why is my random altcoin not pumping when Bitcoin's pumping? Well, because it's not time for that yet. And we're going to get deeper into that in a little bit. We'll go over the 4 phases one more time because, yes, I still get people in the comment section videos going, yeah, Bitcoin's bumping and JASMY's not doing the same thing or whatever crypto is not doing the same thing. So this is a scam. Then leave, sell your stuff and short the market and see how that turns out for you, right? That's all I'm going to say from now on when people say that to me. Well, why isn't this thing pumping? It's a scam. Okay, sell your bag and short it. See how that works out, right? Either that or quit your whining. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get random things pumping. AIOZ up 28.5%. HBAR up almost 21%. Doge 20.7%. Crow has been up massively. 13.8% up, 161% up on the week. Crow is pumping. I see your comments, guys, in the comment section. As I always say, I will do the comment section the second half of the stream. So leave your questions, comments, concerns there, and I will get to them at the latter half of the stream. So the bubbles are looking good, guys. Some good DCA opportunities out there. Proppy, we got a little bit of a story on Proppy coming up. Some good opportunities, guys. Hopefully you guys are taking, because this is one of your last opportunities to stuff your bags. Obviously not financial advice. All right, Squawk Box. That's our president, whether you voted for him or not.
Senator, I just want to say thank you for always being somebody who was thinking logically about things and not looking down party lines. We've had other senators who have left in the past who sounded kind of similar to what you've been saying, just about your frustration with not being able to get people to work across the aisle. I think back to Senator Judd Gregg, a Republican, or Senator Evan Bayh, a Democrat, who both sounded very similar messages when they were leaving the Senate, that it wasn't a civil. I want to thank you for being that voice, and I want to ask you who you think is going to carry on in that tradition with you leaving.
Well, I'm hoping there's others to step up to the plate. As I look back, we had great success working together, Democrats and Republicans, in the 117th Congress. As you recall, 50-50, we decided we want to do something. So it gave unordinary opportunities to 5 or 10 of us in the middle, 5 Ds, 5 Rs. We could sit down. We had an ability to move an agenda. And you can either sit there and get nothing done and say it can't happen, or you can do it. We were able to get things accomplished, and we did some great things. What happened, the administration, the Biden administration, took it further than that and tried to basically adopt rules that were not in line or in sync with the bill that we passed. And I'm hoping that President Trump and his administration can correct some of that. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's some good stuff in there, especially in energy, what was done. And if you want to rename it, the Energy Security Act is really what we should be dealing with, energy security for our country. How do we do it and implement it? Also looking for the future, a future of generation of energy, but also meeting the demands of the current economy that we have in the current defense of our country.
Well, Senator,
how do you do it? There's people there.
You're gone. Senator Sinema's gone. One of your most
There's other people. There's both.
I know, but one of your most important priorities was the filibuster, and you were steadfast, and that was on the ballot.
Yeah.
And it didn't turn out that way. It's not going to happen. The other thing is you probably stopped the Green New Deal from being 10 times as onerous and large as it would have been, and then you got the rug pulled out from you on permitting, and I think you got scolded for talking about inflation because it was supposed to be transitory. So you've got a laundry list of items that I don't know that maybe I wouldn't come back if I were you.
Well, I don't want to say that I told you so, but it was pretty evident. I mean, you all talked about it too. Just inflation was happening because we were sending checks to everybody. We had them all sequestered into their home to where they couldn't move because of the pandemic. And then when we did have a vaccine that worked, we weren't putting people back to work. We were giving the protection of unemployment benefits far longer than it should have been. It was a perfect storm. And I said, this is not rocket science, guys. They didn't want to hear that. And they had a social agenda they were going for. So, you know, the bottom line is I hope they learn from their mistakes. And I hope that if we have a crisis again, we can manage it better than we did. We've learned from that. Let's move forward. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not looking and castigating, on someone's campaign or how they ran it or should have run it. The bottom line is we have a new president. We have Donald Trump as our 47th president. Let's make sure we understand that's our president, whether you voted for him or not, whether you like him or not, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or independent, it doesn't matter. We've got to do everything we can to make this government the best it can be. The world depends on us right now. And I think that basically he's putting some good people in. I'm going to work with them and help them any way I can. If they reach out and if they would ask, what do you think about this, this, and this? I can tell you how we put bills together, whether it was a bipartisan infrastructure bill, the CHIPS Act, or whether it was the IRA. There's good things in all those bills. And we stopped the BBB. That would have thrown us into a total recession and maybe a worldwide depression, throwing that much. And the ARP, American Rescue Plan, that was a $1.9 trillion on top of the $3.2 trillion that we spent in 2020. That was too much, but it happened. Okay, it shouldn't have, but it happened. And I hope that President Trump and the Republican administration doesn't jump right in to reconciliation, basically throwing the Democrats to the side, don't need you at all. The 60 vote threshold of the filibuster is there. It gives not only us stability, it gives the world stability in the United States leadership ability. That's what it does.
All right, guys, going back over to Bitcoin here real quick. Check it out. It's the crypto future live stream pump effect, baby. We are pumping again, $89,160, continuing to work its way back up. Pump it up. You got to pump it up. All right, what else do we got? All right, let's go through the phases. Let's go through the phases again. I know we did this a couple of days ago, guys, but some people still don't seem to be listening or getting it, because I literally broke it down a couple of times, and I'm still getting people in the comment section going, why is my one altcoin not pumping? Why is my small cap coin not pumping, but Bitcoin is? So let's try this again, right, for the people in the back. Path to altcoin season. Phase 1, which is where we are right now, okay? Flow of money moves into Bitcoin, causing price surges. Then we hit an overlap from phase 1 to phase 2, where we see money flows into Ethereum, but it struggles to keep up with Bitcoin. Ethereum goes back and forth with Bitcoin and starts to outperform it, which we are slowly starting to see because Ethereum has worked its way as high as $3,425. So Ethereum is starting to show signs of strength. Then we move into phase 2. Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, and we hear talks of the flippening. So Ethereum at this point in time has not yet begun to outperform Bitcoin, right? So we are clearly not even in phase 2 yet. Then we have another overlap between phase 2 and phase 3, where we see money starts to trickle into large caps, where we see large buy-ups happening, okay? So what that means, I'm going to show you here. Large caps, okay? I know most of you know what large caps is, but large caps, okay? We're going to see money flow from Ethereum. We're going to start seeing it flow into Solana, into BNB, into Doge, XRP, right? Cardano, all of these top projects, AVAX, right? Chainlink, Sui. You're going to start to see the money flow into these big caps, near Polkadot, right? That's what's going to start to happen next. Okay, so that's the overlap. So that's the overlap. And then we get into phase 3. Okay, phase 3. Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin, and large caps are going parabolic. Large caps, Ethereum has not been outperforming Bitcoin yet, and large caps have not been going parabolic. Okay, 2 more signs that your small caps are not supposed to be pumping right now. So please stop complaining that they're not pumping right now, right? And then you have the overlap from phase 3 to phase 4. Regardless of market cap, some altcoins with strong fundamentals are having pumps. And then we get into phase 4. This is where your small cap altcoins will start to pump. Your Onyx coins, your Swifts, your Jasmys, your stuff like that, okay? Large caps have gone full vertical, and we're seeing blow off tops. Mid and low caps, micro caps, all tend to pump around the same time. Large caps have been outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum. It seems every coin's going parabolic regardless of fundamentals, and memes are everywhere. Everyone is super excited, and you feel the mania in the air, which is when you should be leaving, okay? So in saying that, your small caps won't start pumping until down here in phase 4, okay? So we're up here in phase 1. Stop asking why your micro caps down here are not pumping in phase 1, okay? I don't know how much more clear I can make it. I keep getting asked this question, and people keep getting people are fudding themselves out of their projects because their projects aren't pumping yet. That's a vital mistake a lot of people make in crypto that don't make money. They see the project that they're holding is not pumping, but they see some other project that's mooning. So they go and they sell their project that's not pumping, and they go buy the one that's mooning. Then the one that's mooning starts to come down because everyone takes profits. Congratulations, you're now exit liquidity. Then the project that they were in waiting starts going parabolic. That happens to millions of people every single time, because the way that you're feeling, if you feel this way, if you're sitting there watching your altcoins right now that are not pumping, but other things are, and you're like, I'm going to get out of these altcoins and buy ones that are pumping, you're about to get wrecked, okay? You're about to buy the tops and then your coins that you were in are about to go parabolic, right? So don't make that mistake. Don't play yourself, right? Yeah, don't do it to yourself, man, because you will regret doing it. Trust me. Watch Guru, 222,222,000 worth of Bitcoin shorts have been liquidated in the past 24 hours. Absolutely crazy. The ducks in my pond, my favorite name on YouTube. What's going on, brother? Thank you so much for the super chat. Got some Miria today. Seemed pretty cheap to me today. Thanks for all you do. Hey, I think picking up Miria at these levels is absolutely a no-brainer, man. A no-brainer. You're gonna be happy you did that, in my opinion. I scooped up some Miria when it dipped down to about 2016. I scooped up a few, put a little groceries in there, right? Sprinkle little groceries in there, pick some up, stuff the bags. You know what I'm saying? Twinkle, twinkle. I appreciate you, my friend. As always, it's awesome to have you here, man. It's absolutely awesome to have you here. So yeah, guys, DCAing is the way. Like, I'm getting a lot of people right now who are telling me that the strategy that we have been deploying in terms of DCAing when things are down has paid off massively for them all, for everybody, right? Because while all the time, all the red days, all the dips, all the drops and everything like that were frustrating. They were doom and gloom and everything. We dollar cost averages over the last 2 years, guys. And now everyone's portfolios are pumping. They're in the green. We absolutely love it, man. See, the strategy works, baby. The strategy works. All right, what else do we got? What else do we got? Let's go back over to Squawk Box. Talking about the Fed. The Fed claims it has no responsibility. It has responsibility for stablecoins. So the Fed wants to control stablecoins. Big mistake. The Fed is not a government agency, guys, despite what people think.
The Fed's independence has been called into question. Utah Senator Mike Lee calling for an end to the Fed. In a tweet he wrote, in his words, the executive branch should be under the direction of the president. That's how the Constitution was designed. The Federal Reserve is one of many examples of how we have deviated from the Constitution in that regard. Yet another reason why we should #end the Fed. Our next guest says the senator is standing up for the Constitution with, in her words, courage and insight. And join us now, Independent Institute Senior Fellow Judy Shelton. She was one of President-elect Trump's original Federal Reserve Board nominees. Also with us are Steve Leisman. I was thinking about this yesterday, Judy. It's good to see you. I was thinking about it from the context that it's gotten to the point where if it's a discussion, it's almost heretical. It reminded me of religion to even talk about the idea. It's such a sacred cow. And instead of talking about what might be very good reasons to at least look at the inner workings of the Fed, it's what you always bring to us, the idea that the way the Fed is set up, that it benefited the big money setter banks, and it actually caused them to hoard money because they made $1 trillion combined between all of them instead of lending it out. So instead of questioning the way the Fed works, everybody's like, oh my God, this is heresy. It's almost like saying you're gonna, get rid of, I don't know, apple pie and hot dogs or something.
Well, I think it has become kind of sacrosanct in a way that prevents us from talking about improvements at the Fed. And if the definition of central bank independence means no legislative oversight, if it means no limits on the financial capabilities of the Federal Reserve, and if it means no real accountability, the Fed often claims it has responsibility for stable prices, but nobody got fired after we had the worst inflation in 40 years. So I think it's healthy to challenge some of the powers that have been accumulated by the Federal Reserve.
It's almost orthodoxy, which is another religious term that I think.
Well, should there be limits on how much government debt the Federal Reserve can purchase? Should there be limits on how much base money it can create with a computer keystroke? Should there be limits on the amount of interest it can pay to commercial banks at taxpayer expense to keep reserves sitting at the Fed in depository accounts, doing nothing to provide capital resources to the real economy?
Can I say this question, though? And here's one of the great conundrums of this. If you left the Federal Reserve to effectively be controlled by an executive branch or effectively the American public to effectively vote on what they think the Federal Reserve should or should not be doing, which to some degree is what you're talking about. I think there's degrees here about what we're really talking about. In most cases, I hate to say this, I think the American public would actually make the wrong decision almost every single time. And I think the aftermath of the financial crisis of 2008 is a prime example of that, given the way the public felt at that time.
That was the Fed that when the public had brought us that.
No. But what would have happened is, left to their own devices, we would have shut down the entire system because people would say, we don't want to give any money to banks, right? That's what would have happened.
It's not wrong.
If you had done a straw vote of the American public of what to do, they would be like, don't give any money to these horrible bankers. They should get nothing.
That's your opinion. I don't know if that would.
But you mean in the aftermath of a global financial meltdown, and I don't know any other institution that would be more responsible for properly calibrating the amount of money and credit in the system than the Federal Reserve.
I have to agree with him there. I'm sure you guys probably do as well. I'm sure if you left it up to the American citizen to vote on whether they, bailed out banks or gave the banks money, of course people are going to say no. That's just common sense. Banks are scams. Like, it's not hard to figure. So he's absolutely right.
By the way,
You're talking about how resolving it.
This is not to defend the federal, but I'm saying there will be mistakes made repeatedly, and the question is, if you let, there will always be mistakes. Let's just accept. You don't believe that mistakes will always get made. Invariably, there's going to be some level of mistake.
Yeah, but I think you're talking about who should have the ability to manipulate interest rates. You're saying I wouldn't want that to be in the executive branch or the legislative.
Correct.
But is the Federal Reserve, should they be doing that?
Although the one point we've made is that we've never seen a president who wanted higher interest rates, because it's counter to what they're trying to do, which is stoke the economy and keep things going.
Especially real estate guys.
Can I just make one point of fact, which is that Senator Mike Lee is barking up the wrong tree.
Barking up the wrong neck of the woods.
Whatever. The Federal Reserve is a creation of Congress. The problem is not that the executive branch does not have control over the Fed, because the executive branch did not create the Fed. The Fed is not part of the executive branch. If you have a problem with the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve Act, it's a problem of Congress. This flows from the controls of the purse, which is the prerogative of Congress. And that I think the questions that Judy asks are interesting and worth exploring. Should there be limits on how much debt the Fed will? Right. But those are prerogatives of Congress to put on. And there's a reason for that because of some of the things that Andrew said. Whether or not you want to be paying banks to limit the floor on interest rates is an interesting question. Yeah. But you can't say that, like Senator Mike Lee did, which I'm kind of think is a little embarrassing, right? That the problem is the executive branch thing. It's not the executive, it's Congress. If Congress wants to limit these things, it has every ability to get together and do so, but it hasn't done so. It has given the Fed, what Judy points out in an interesting article, is a tripartite mandate, not just two. Correct. There's inflation, unemployment, as well as stable credit, moderate long-term rates. She wrote an interesting piece on that. But if it's not doing so, and I would just push back a little bit on Judy in the sense that there is oversight of the Fed at Congress. They report twice a year in the Humphrey Hawkins. Anytime the Fed, the Congress wants a Fed official to come, they go and they do provide testimony, and they also respond. If that oversight is not sufficient, it's a problem of Congress, is what I would point out.
Well, Steve is exactly right in the sense that the Fed does answer to Congress because that's in the Constitution.
Right.
That's Article 1, Section 8. Right. And so it's up to Congress to regulate the money. And they have farmed out that responsibility to a government agency.
Right.
And so I think that's what we're talking about. I just want to say, too, though, you mentioned Trump being a real estate guy. In 2015, when he was first beginning to run for president, he acknowledged that. He said, I'm a real estate guy. Of course I love low rates.
Yeah, he said that frequently.
But he also said, but think of the people who are being responsible, who don't own financial assets, who are putting money in the bank to save for retirement every week. He said they are getting creamed.
Yeah, but that
Should the Fed be the ones deciding whether we increase or decrease rates? I would love to know your guys' thoughts on that. Let me know. Let me know. All right. What else do we got in the news? Boom. The NASDAQ is listed a Chinese microchip company, Nano Labs, which now accepts Bitcoin as payment. Yes, China is definitely getting ready. I told you guys, as soon as Trump announced that we're going to create a strategic asset reserve for Bitcoin, we knew that Russia and China were going to start doing the same thing. All my Algorand fans out there, just a reminder, staking rewards are coming to Algorand. Yes, that is right. DeFi staking on Algo, guys. I cannot wait to participate in that. It's going to be a lot of fun. BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF did over $1 billion in trading volume today in just 25 minutes. Absolutely crazy, guys. And I'm going to show you what's happening while we're sitting here chatting. Yeah, that's right. The crypto future live stream effect is taking place. $89,454 on Bitcoin. We are on our way back up. Can we break 90K today? That would be absolutely fantastic. That would be fantastic. JASMY's working its way back up as well. Let me just refresh the chart. Yeah, JASMY's working its way back up. So things are looking good, guys. Things are turning around very, very nicely. All right. What else do we got? Ballot CEO says Bitcoin will hit $1 million in 5 to 6 years. This is why I'm buying Bitcoin as much as I can.
You've been calling for $100,000. It's at about 88. When do you see Bitcoin getting to 100K? And when do you see it getting to 1 million? That is what you're projecting.
Yeah. So I anticipate this time we can cross $100,000 this year by end of December 2024. I think it's very easy to get there. I think we're going to cross $90,000 within the week. And it's just 100K will be psychologically a big barrier. So there's a lot of people selling pressure near around $100,000. But I think it's easy to overcome that in the next few weeks. I think we have 7 weeks left in this year, 8 weeks left. And then for 1 million, that's a sort of even bigger milestone. We're going to see a bull market this year and next year in 2025. I think it's going to be very hard for Bitcoin to cross $1 million in this cycle. So probably one more bull market cycle. That's probably 5 to 6 years out. And there will be some major price corrections as well. So beware of that volatility.
Oh, man. $1 million Bitcoin. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Absolutely phenomenal. All right. Well, look at this. This is what happens, guys, when you wait. I get people who ask me, should I wait for a lower price to buy? Should I wait for a lower price to buy? Listen to this.
I fucked up Bitcoin again. I have it, but I was going to buy $2 million on the ledger with Barstool, and I think I said I want in the 40s. I went to do it. I literally switched the money into Kraken, and by the time I got the 2 million into Kraken, was it 39 or 49? It was back over the threshold, and my CFO's like, "Want me to buy it?" It's like, no, we wait for it to go back to this number and then buy the 2 mil. And it just never went back. I've given up on crypto. I love crypto. I own it. It's on the ledger.
That's what happens when you wait for lower prices or when you wait for price targets, guys. He sent $2 million over to Kraken. He was going to buy Bitcoin. It was at a certain level. By the time the money got to Kraken, it had went up a little bit, just a little bit. So then he decided, I'll wait till it comes back down just a little bit, and then I'll purchase it. It never came back down. That's what happens when you wait for lower prices. That's why dollar cost averaging is the way you want to go, guys, right? All right, what else do we got? All right, so just in, Ethereum's spot ETF sees record high net inflows of 295 million on November 11th, which was yesterday, with Fidelity's FETH alone contributing 115 million. So the Ethereum ETFs are starting to gain some traction as well, guys. Very, very bigly. All right, let's get into an article here, see what we got going on. Mt. Gox moves $2.4 billion in BTC ahead of creditor repayment deadline. Mt. Gox, a defunct Bitcoin exchange, moved over $2.4 billion worth of BTC between cold wallets. This massive transfer involved more than 30,000 Bitcoin, comes amid the Bitcoin hitting an all-time high of $81,000. It's actually hit 89, almost $90,000 now. Heightening anticipation surrounding the October 2025 repayment deadline for Mt. Gox creditors. The move is seen as a preparatory step. Look at the hiccup step by Mt. Gox trustees to fulfill creditor repayments, marking one of the largest cryptocurrency transfers in recent months. I don't know why they consider this a big deal, guys, because the repayments aren't happening until October of next year now, right? So they moved Bitcoin from one cold storage wallet to another cold storage wallet. Who cares, right? As the October 2025 repayment deadline for Mt. Gox creditors nears, the exchange's trustees have taken a significant step towards finalizing. So I guess they're just getting ready to repay everybody, which is fantastic, obviously, right? Let's get back into some more Squawk Box. I like to chop it up for you guys. This is 3 for 3, says Rep Gallagher of Real Donald Trump, picking up Waltz. So this is part of his team that he's picked up.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. President-elect Donald Trump picking Florida Congressman Mike Waltz to be his national security advisor. It's according to multiple sources. And the reports that Florida Senator Marco Rubio expected to be named Secretary of State for a closer look at the geopolitical threats facing President-elect Trump in his second term. Former Wisconsin Congressman Mike Gallagher, he is now head of defense for Palantir Technologies, a distinguished fellow with the Hudson Institute. He's got a piece that we're going to talk about in a second. But Mike, before we even get there, let's talk about some of these names. I'd love to get your thoughts. I think most of these names are actually relatively aligned with your thoughts about national security, and specifically China.
Yeah, I think these are fantastic picks by Donald Trump thus far. If you care about standing up to China, if you want an aggressive approach to Salafi jihadists in the Middle East, if you want a strong border, if you want more aggressive action against the narco terrorists south of our border or on fentanyl, this is a fantastic team that's shaping up. I served with Mike Waltz on the Armed Services Committee, on the Intelligence Committee. He's a veteran. He has a deep well of experience. He's an incredible communicator when it comes to taking complex national security issues and talking about them in a way that resonates with the American people. And he has private sector experience. That's a rare combination. I think he'll do very, very well. And he sees the China threat clearly. I was constantly impressed with Mike Waltz during my time in Congress. Similar, Elise Stefanik will be fantastic at the UN. An unapologetic voice for American leadership in the world. She's going to put Russia and China and Iran on the defense. I think she'll bring a reform agenda to the UN, which is in desperate need of reform. And then Rubio as Secretary of State, obviously right now as vice chair of the Intel Committee, he's passionate about foreign policy. He's made it a priority in the Senate. I think beyond a clear-eyed view on China and a strong stance in support of Israel, what Rubio can bring to Foggy Bottom is a focus on an area that's been neglected for decades now, which is our own backyard, Central America, Southern America, restoring some version of the Monroe Doctrine in the present day, tackling Russian and Chinese influence in our own hemisphere. So this is 3 for 3 right now. Donald Trump, he's picked fantastic people, and I hope he continues this momentum, and we have a chance to restore deterrence. It's very good news.
In terms of China, though, because that's been sort of your big issue for a very long time now, how do you think that these names change or impact whatever the relationship looks like? And how much does it turn from being a competition to being demonstrable adversaries?
I think it will turn to recognizing reality, which is that this isn't some polite tennis match that we call a competition. It is a new Cold War with existential stakes. China is trying to displace us as the world's sole superpower, trying to destroy our system of alliances in the Indo-PACOM in particular, but that's just a stepping off point for realizing its global ambitions. So I think this team, again, if this trend continues, will have a far more realistic view of not only China's global ambitions, but also how to deal with them. That starts with investing in a credible military deterrent, getting very creative, thinking like insurgents in the Indo-Pacific, thinking about how we get more bang for our buck on the military side. But it also continues into the diplomatic realm, being willing to stand across from Xi Jinping and his emissaries and push back on their claims, and not being lured into this sort of diplomatic dance where we take our foot off the gas just for promises of future meetings, which I really think explains the last 2 years of the Biden administration.
Interesting. Good team in place. Good team in place, guys. A little bit of, for all you Swift fans out there and Proppy, we have Tim Draper, guys, talking about Proppy.
Proppy will make it so you don't need title insurance anymore because you will own your title. It will be on the blockchain and it'll be indisputable. And so you don't need to fight for your title every time somebody has some claim on it because that'll all be on the blockchain. It'll all be permanent. I also think in real estate, there are all sorts of other things happening that could have some transformative effect on the way we buy and sell real estate and pieces of real estate, and that is tokenizing real estate. And I think that that is going to make a big impact on our world, and real estate will never be the same. I'll
tell you guys right now, little gem for you. Proppy is actually going to be one of the projects that we're going to be doing deep looks at and a lot of accumulating on throughout the next bear market over on the Patreon, guys. We look at these gems, we do the research, we do the work. We are building fantastic portfolios over there going into the following bull run. I have a beautiful plan laid out for the next bear market for the entire Patreon community, guys. So you got to make sure you get over there because we're going to be building some fantastic portfolios, guys. I'm excited about it. I am excited about it. What else do we got? We got another article. Let's get to another article. All right. So Bitcoin's price gains see significant pullbacks as being ruled out before 150K. Sorry, I get the hiccups, guys. BTC took daily gains to 4.5% on November 11th as an unlikely weekend of uptrend held firmly in place. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView showed BTC's price momentum passing $84,000 after the Wall Street open. Now up nearly 25% in the past 7 days, the BTC USD showed no signs of major retracements or consolidation as bulls ripped through sell walls and continued price discovery. Quote, in the short term, crypto bears are going to help drag the Bitcoin price higher as they keep adding shorts for the market to liquidate. Popular analysts account Bitcoin Data 21 reacts in part of a post-X. Guys, that's the thing. Anyone who's shorting the market right now, have you lost your mind? Are you crazy? You're actually shorting a parabolic run on Bitcoin? You are crazy. Bitcoin Data 21 referred to market participants betting on a major BTC price capitulation. Among them are traders known as Capo of Crypto, who has predicted a crash as low as $12,000 over the course of the current bull market. This guy's been calling for a $12,000 Bitcoin. I don't know how that's working out for him. My target remains 150K for the first top, which is subject to change if my indicators tell me. But there's plenty of time to sit and watch and enjoy right now. And that's what a lot of people should be doing right now, guys. You should be sitting down and enjoying what you're seeing, because we only get to see this kind of action for 6 months out of a 4-year cycle. So you should be sitting back with a nice Red Bull or coffee or tea or whatever it is you're drinking, protein shake. Just put your feet up, man, and just enjoy the ride instead of stressing out. Why are you stressing out? Just enjoy the 4 phases of the bull run, right? Your time's coming, baby. Your time is coming. Data from monitoring resource CoinGlass showed bid liquidity thickening above $81,000 on exchange order books, potentially helping force spot prices higher. Considering the odds of a BTC USD heading even further into uncharted territory, commentators noted, among other things, low fund rates across derivatives markets, something uncharacteristic of breakouts through the all-time highs. Zooming out, veteran trader Peter Brandt offered another reason to stay bullish on BTC. A clean flippening on long-term resistance in the form of an inverse head and shoulders pattern on the as we see right here, shoulder, head, shoulder. Oh, can you see what I think? Shoulder, head, shoulder. That's what he's talking about right now. MicroStrategy buys $2 billion in Bitcoin with all eyes on ETFs. Spot buying was meanwhile joined by a fresh commitment from business intelligence firm MicroStrategy, which on the day announced a BTC acquisition of over $2 billion, as Cointelegraph reported on November 10th. The firm's holdings passed 100% return on investment. The road to 80K Bitcoin was paved with steady ETF demand, not retail FOMO. Little fanfare. Cameron Winklevoss, co-founder of exchange Gemini, commented this week, quote, "People buy ETFs, they don't sell them. This is sticky hodl-like capital. Floor keeps rising. Where are we in the cycle? We just won the coin toss. Innings haven't even started." Guys, big things are coming. The Ethereum ETF has just started to gain some traction over the last couple of days as well. Man, I don't know how people don't see what is coming. What do we got over here? Simply Bitcoin. AI company Genesis Group adds Bitcoin as its primary treasury asset and will buy 120 million more Bitcoin. Crazy, guys. Crazy. And what do we have? All you KASPA fans, Beebs, I'm looking at you, buddy. All unfolds exactly as the universe intends. Kraken, chains, integration of new blockchains and listings of native tokens for trading. What do we have? KASPA. Right here. And look at, they put their little eyes. Look at, they put their eyes and then a response. Hey, Kraken, seems maybe you're gearing up for a KASPA listing. Yeah. We will make it the biggest Kraken listing you've ever had at your service. So it looks like we're looking at a new listing for KASPA on Kraken, guys. We will keep an eye on it, let you know how it goes. What else do we have here? Nick from Coin Bureau reveals he has spoken to the team of BTC OS and will be invested. All right, check it out.
For Bitcoin. Now, this was the news that Bitcoin OS, or BitOS, which is a Bitcoin operating system, which is basically building this smart contract operating system for Bitcoin, they basically integrated within the Cardano ecosystem. Now, this is quite bullish because what it's basically going to allow is for a bridge of liquidity from the Bitcoin ecosystem to Cardano. Okay. And also for Cardano dApps and everything to leverage, Bitcoin security to a certain degree. Now, what BitOS does is it's, like I say, it uses this, it's zero knowledge proofs, basically. It's a virtual machine for succinct zero knowledge proofs that can be posted and verified on the Bitcoin main chain. Okay. Now, this is a project which has been building for quite some time. I've actually spoken to the team and we're going to be investing in them. And they basically And Bitcoin OS basically was this holy grail of trying to verify a zero-knowledge proof on the Bitcoin main chain, which has eluded many Bitcoin researchers for quite some time. And it's fully permissionless in a fully permissionless manner. And also they've got this Grail bridge, right? We can bridge the liquidity between these chains in a permissionless manner, not relying on any sort of MPC technology and everything. So it's really an interesting integration because, like I say, Bitcoin's liquidity, you've got $1.5 trillion worth of liquidity. Bitcoin's there's $1.5 trillion asset class which can now be utilized and in the Cardano ecosystem, Cardano dApps.
That is absolutely fantastic, guys. Paying in Cardano gas fees for the Ethereum network. Sign me up, guys. Sign me up. All right, we got more videos to get into here. What do we got? Squawk Box. What the market is saying is it's only a matter of time before home-related sales improve if you are in real estate.
Home Depot out with third quarter results today. The company beating the street's expectations on both the top and the bottom lines. Home Depot saw its 8th straight quarter of negative comparable sales, but it was the smallest decline in the last 7 quarters. That stock is up by about 1.4% this morning. Joining us right now is Brian Nagel. He's senior analyst at Oppenheimer. And Brian, the company was pretty explicit in saying that some of the improvement it's seen, it's because of what they saw in the third quarter. They're still not giving a ton of guidance on what to expect in the fourth quarter and beyond. But what did you think of the earnings report?
Well, good morning, Becky. Look, I think it was more of the same. I know we talk a lot about Home Depot and the home improvement space on your show. And as I dig through this third quarter report, it's more of the same. I think the upside, and like you mentioned in your opening, sales were a bit better than expected, still negative, but a bit better. The upside was really a function of weather. Remember, we had 2 significant storms, that crossed Florida and the southeastern United States through the period. You also have these warmer temperatures, which can be kind of a mixed bag overall. But I think, nonetheless, I think this was largely a weather-driven sales upside. And we saw that in margins too, because these weather-related sales gains are usually less profitable.
They talked about categories that were improved, things like grills and paint that have been under pressure for some time. Is this just the cycle of people needing to renew things, or is this a little more consumer confidence?
Well, look, that's the hope. Okay, the hope is that all those grills that were purchased early in the pandemic are now worn down and people are buying new ones. Okay, but there's also probably a weather component. And this is where it gets a little difficult to decipher this in real time. But as the temperatures have stayed warmer across the country, that could drive some incremental grill sales later into the season. But all this said, I think the positive here is, and we're by no means out of the woods with Home Depot or home improvement, but it does show that there is still underlying demand, helped by weather, but there is still demand for these type of products.
Home Depot may have underperformed the market so far this year, but year to date, it's up about 20%. And that's nothing to sneeze at. That does imply that people are feeling much better about the prospects for, the return of home improvement projects coming back up.
Well, look, I think it's a great point. And I frankly have been a bit surprised with the strength in Home Depot shares. Like you pointed out, still underperforming a very strong market, but up meaningfully, big cap name. As I'm talking to our clients, what I hear a lot of is basically people buying the stock ahead of what's expected to be the benefits of lower rates. Now, I totally agree. As rates moderate, demand for home-related products will improve. But my team and I, we published a really significant analysis not that long ago, looking at past rate cycles. And what we showed is very clear. There's a significant, pronounced lead-lag relationship, meaning that the benefits to home-related spending oftentimes come well after rates moderate. I think right now, that's what I think is happening. But what the market's saying is that it's only a matter of time before home-related sales improve as the Fed continues to lower interest rates.
Interesting, guys. Is the economy wherever you are in a place where you feel you can be doing home improvements? Let me know, guys, because I tell you this much, in about 8 months, you're probably going to want to do some home improvements because you will have the money. Dennis, Rob, how do I book a one-on-one? Dennis, let me know, are you over on the Patreon? Because if you are over on the Patreon, then all you have to do is send me a DM on the Patreon, or just let me know in the group or in the general chat over on the Patreon, and I will I'll schedule you in for one. All right. What else do we got? We got John Deaton. Good old John Deaton. So from Tyler Winklevoss, he says Bitcoin's price appreciation is giving us a tiny glimpse into just how toxic and destructive Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren's behavior has been on our industry. But this has been happening to every industry for the past 4 years. Get ready for a supersonic American economic boom. John Deaton follows up by saying, the one thing this industry needed most was regulatory clarity. Instead, Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler gave us the opposite. For 5 years, I've heard entrepreneurs say, we just won't offer it to American investors, forcing everything overseas. That ends now, right? Very, very good. Gary and Elizabeth Warren costing America innovation. All right, what do we got here from Yahoo Finance? Our job is not to spend more money and get less from the consumer. Macy's CEO Tony Spring tells Yahoo Finance, our job is to spend the right money and be able to inspire the consumer.
Well, I think the consumer never likes uncertainty. So I think as we all experienced kind of what will happen, the consumer doesn't enjoy that. I think the level of uncertainty we've seen in 2024 has been high on a number of different factors. So I think post the election, retail is a great place for those that want to celebrate and those that want to escape. So we actually are a great place for people to come for what we call retail therapy, a chance for people to enjoy themselves. The holidays are coming. It's a perfect time of year where you're actually thinking about your family, your friends, your loved ones, as opposed to the geopolitical environment where you've got people who are, on opposite sides of the equation and not necessarily comfortable having conversations.
Now, did it help the fact that we had a decisive conclusion on who won Wednesday morning?
Yes.
Yeah. And are consumers seeking value in this sort of environment, or are they willing to splurge now that we got past that uncertainty?
I think you have different consumers looking for different things. One reason is why Macy's Inc. as a portfolio, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, and Bluemercury is such a powerful engine of retail is because we appeal to different types of consumers. There are those people that are looking for what's the latest fashion, what is newness, and that's very important to the Bloomingdale's business. It's also important to the Macy's business. We have consumers that are looking for great value. Value obviously is described by what I pay, but also the experience I have, how quickly it comes, how convenient it is, and Macy's leans into that very effectively. And then at Bluemercury, you have the benefit of obviously efficacy in skincare and local talent that is right in your community. So it's a convenient factor as well.
I want to take a step back with the election in mind and a Trump administration yet again. Tariffs top of mind. Yeah. Of course, we heard a bit from the last guest about the potential impact. How much of a potential headwind is this for Macy's?
Look, this isn't the first time we've seen the discussion about tariffs. We have the experience from the first administration, Trump administration, and certainly the Biden administration left in place some of the tariffs. So we as retailers and as manufacturers have diversified our sourcing. So certainly for the private brands that we produce, the vast majority we've moved out of China into other countries we produce in. And it's an ongoing conversation with our business partners, our manufacturers, our suppliers, and making sure that they're thinking about, obviously, if something can be made outside of China, that's going to be advantageous. If you can at least balance your production into another country, that's also going to help. And I think it's frankly opened up South American market for production and other parts of Asia.
Will you have to raise prices?
Look, it's too soon to say, and we don't know the magnitude. I think there's what people say and there's what people do. We certainly are all familiar with what campaign pledges are and then ultimately what comes to pass. I would hope not, would be my answer. I think if it's anything sizable or meaningful, then we'll have to evaluate it.
Yeah, and you do sit on the executive committee for the National Retail Federation, and they do expect American spending power to be reduced by billions of dollars each year.
If it comes to pass.
If it comes to pass.
And again, are we talking about what percent? Because there have been a range of percentage that have been shared. I think some is designed as a negotiating tactic. If it's a negotiating tactic, wonderful. But look, we know we are a competitor with China. Hopefully it's not an adversarial relationship, and they are at the bargaining table in some way, shape, or form to provide what is good for American manufacturers as well as what is good for the U.S. economy.
Are your partners saying that they plan to pull inventory ahead to prepare for the possibility of this?
No. I think that people are very mindful, having lived through a pandemic and having lived through a financial meltdown, that the management of their balance sheet and the thoughtfulness of cash flow, they're not going to own inventory they don't need to own. And again, the ability to manufacture products all across the world is now a bigger advantage than it was in 2015, 2016.
On the flip side, is there an opportunity to source more American goods should this happen?
Look, depending on the category, I think so. And again, the newer the category, the more price flexibility the consumer has, the more interest in innovation. I think there is more opportunity. But we're not going to return to a time 50 years ago when so much more was manufactured in this country. That would not be taking advantage of the world economy. And I think we all enjoy the benefits of a world economy. I think now we've just got to figure out what is fair, competitive trading practices.
I want to flip to the fun side of things. I know that in late February, Macy's introduced this bold new chapter strategy. Now,
so do you think that tariffs are going to cause these companies like Macy's to start increasing prices across the board? That is a very interesting question as well, guys, because that obviously will be an impact. All right, let's go back over to the Bitcoin chart. Boom, look at that. So far, so good, guys. Nice recovery. Very nice recovery. All right, let's get into the chat. See what everybody's talking about today. Luke, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. As always, guys, please make sure you're hitting the like and subscribe to the channel. It definitely means a lot. I only ask you once per stream. I know there's a lot of content creators out there that will harass you every 2.5 minutes to hit the like and subscribe. I'm just asking you once per day. Once per stream. Do me that favor. It would mean a lot, guys. Helps the channel grow. William, what's up, buddy? As always, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Brian, it's looking nice out there. Yes, sun is shining, brother. Big Kev's in the house. Why doesn't my portfolio go straight up? Crypto's a scam. Badlander, what's up, buddy? Yo, Robin fam. I love being pre-rich at this time. Yes, exactly. It's a good feeling, man. It's a good feeling to go sit down on the bench press at the gym right between sets and just think, couple more months, man. I'll be getting not just gains in the gym, but gains in the bank, man. Funky, today is a good buy day for Jasmy. Yes, you're absolutely right. D-Gen freaking blew the doors off. I'm out of it now. Did it blow the doors off here? D-Gen, how's it doing? Oh yeah. D-Gen's up 41.5% on the day, 132% on the week. Crazy. That's awesome, brother. That is awesome. Kat, hey folks, good evening. Good to see you, Kat. Good to see you. David's in the house. Hey all, still all good in the hood. Oh yeah, ain't no thing but a chicken wing. Dumb Money's in the house. What did you discover about mobile? For the best of my knowledge, mobile is actually canceling their mobile token and trying to force everyone to convert into their MNT token. So, since that is the case, I am leaving the project. I don't like that. So, for me personally, I am out. William, people who ask why their altcoin isn't pumping are people who aren't going to make it in this space. Yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, William, because eventually they're going to give up just before go time, right? I'm here for the XCN. Nice. Me too, brother. Me too. Balaclava, man. Hey, Rob, you see how Jasmy holders are 50% whales? Should we be concerned about the possible dump down in the line? Well, let me put it this way for you. You do always have to be aware of what's going on with whales and stuff like that. But that's why personally I front run the market, man, right? It is something you have to pay attention to. Yes. Is it a primary concern for me? No, it's not really. I know I'll be out way before they are. So yeah, but it is something you need to, pay attention to. Bruno, what's up, buddy? Jackie, not sure if you said, but did anything cause the dip on Jasmy? Just Bitcoin dipping. Just Bitcoin dipping. That's all that happened. But Jasmy's already back up over 2 cents one. It's climbed back up significantly so far today. Hey, Rob, you see how Jasmy holders are 50% whales? Oh, I already read that. Ortho Chap, what's up, man? Why crypto needs to replace bank? Yes, absolutely. Less people with hands in the pockets. Yes, exactly. Nailed it, brother. Nailed it. Hey, Rob, please, can you advise, do you keep money on US? Well, here's the thing. When I'm doing my trading, like if I'm just converting or switching money around in the immediate term or the short term, I'll use Tether, USDT. If I'm holding it long term, I'll use Circle's USDC. EOS to the moon. Yes. WF Capital in the house. What's going on, man? Wilbert, 90K. Let's freaking go, baby. Just got my Scotiabank passport, infinite visa. Let's go. More travel. Hells yeah. Jasmy's looking good. Bareth Soloway. I like that corrected. I like it. Bareth Soloway short to 16K. That guy's been getting wrecked like crazy with his shorts. Dumb money. Believe me when I say I am enjoying this ride. My man. I love to see it, man. I love to see it. Is Trump talking about market/crypto today? He might be. I don't know. I'll keep on top of it. If he is, then I'll have it, I'll have it queued up for this evening's live stream. Dennis, okay, so we talked about that. Yeah, just let me know, Dennis. Just contact me over on the Patreon, and I'll get you scheduled in. Good to know I got out with a profit. Yes. So, guys, listen, if you want to schedule one-on-one coaching sessions or you want to join our group Zoom calls, we do group Zoom calls every day over on the Patreon, right? We talk about all kinds of things from we're talking about nodes, we're talking about passive income, we're talking about DeFi staking, we're talking about, self-custody, taxes, tax implications, everything crypto, guys. In fact, as soon as I'm done this live stream in about 10 minutes, I'm going over and I will be live over on the Patreon. So get over there. The link is in the chat. Join me in the Patreon for the live that we're doing over there. Yeah. And book a one-on-one with me as well, guys, if you need help, right? Get it scheduled. And I will see you guys over on the Patreon in about 10, 15 minutes, okay? Deuces.